Hello, this is a sample test of an app I've created, or software, desktop software I've created capturing COVID data since May 1st, 2020 for all 50 states. I've summarized the data for each state, and I have some graphs to show progression of the virus spread, whether it's spreading or whether it's contracting in each state. Today I'm going to do a sample graph, a sample video of states in the Southeast, which includes Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. I'll start with Arkansas. Now, I guess I'll start with Alabama since I'm already on Alabama. We can see the peak deaths and case dates. Record case dates, record death dates for Alabama occurred in July and August. We also see the last 30 day, 31 to 60 day, and 61 to 90 day totals and rates. Cases have gone down over time. Deaths have gone down as well. Unfortunately, testing is kind of flattened out. It went down and has flattened out the last 30 days. As we can see in a graph form. See how it's started to go down, flatten out. As far as the positive test rate has gone down slightly over the last 90 days, but not much. And here's a graphical representation of that. Peaked in early August, dropped down to its low towards the end of August, and kind of went up and flattened out over the last couple months, where it's at about 13 to 14% right now. That's not good. You want to be below 5% for the virus to start shrinking. And another way to look at that is looking at the number of cases. Based on the population of Alabama, they need to be under about 500 cases a day. They've only done that once in the past 90 days. Need to be consistently below this line in order to start shrinking the virus, and that's not happening. What else can we look at here? Those are probably the two most important graphs to look at. You can look at 90-day cases. Well, we just looked at that. 90-day tests. They're testing a little bit more robustly back in August, and it's kind of flattened out pretty low. This line here indicates if we tested, the number of people tested per day for 365 days would mean a test equaling every citizen of the state. So if you take the population divided by 365, that's what this number is. So you can see the rate of tests here probably would take 2 years to test everyone in the state at the rate they're currently testing. So Alabama has a long way to go. I really count on this as the harbinger of where things are, this graph, and that doesn't look good. Let's look at Arkansas. Arkansas has more recently had record case and death dates in September. Their cases have been going up the last 30 days, as we can see here. Number of deaths have kind of went up from 61 to 90 days ago from that point, and kind of flattened out and gone down a little bit. They are testing quite robustly. Let's see if the number of tests equate to where they should be. And they're pretty close to where they should be, but they were very deficient 2 or 3 months ago. The positive test rate is going down gradually, still above 5%, and the death rate is kind of flattened out It's between the high and the low. If you look at their positive test rate, they got down close to 5%, but unfortunately, with trends that are happening all around the country right now, they're starting to climb. They were down around 5%. Now they're up over 7% in about a week. So Arkansas is not doing very well right now. Next state we'll look at will be Florida. Florida, you see this here, 15,300 cases. That was a really bad day back in July. That was their record. That's 276 in a day back in August. Number of cases have gone down significantly over the last 3 months. Number of deaths have been steadily going down. Problem is their testing is about half of what it was 2 or 3 months ago. And their positive test rate, which was just absolutely horrendous back in July, August, is down to 11.25% over the last 30 days. Their death rate is climbing, and that's a pretty high death rate. For every person that's tested positive, 3.63% of them are dying. And here's their positive test rate graph. You can see how bad it was. They've never been anywhere close to 5% if you go all the way back to March, April. Well, maybe in March or so they were, because it really hadn't hit Florida back then. But through the summer months, they've never really been close to 5%. And it looked promising that they were on a downward trend, but everywhere seems to be going up the last week or so. So Florida has a long way to go as well. The next state we'll look at will be Georgia in the Southeast. They had their peak case and death dates back in July and August. Nothing recently. You can see their cases have gone down considerably. Their deaths have gone down as well. But their testing went down from where it was 2-3 months ago. And their positive test rate has come down significantly. However, their death rate has climbed. It's probably because we have fewer cases, but the pace of decline in death does not match the pace of decline in cases. So let's look at their 14-day trailing average positive test rate percentage. They got down to 6%, and it seems like they're just holding there. They're not really getting down to where they need to be. Out of states in the Southeast, though, they've shown quite a remarkable decline, steady decline. We'll have to see where this leads, this flattening out, whether it goes up or down, or stays flat. Let's hope it goes down. So Georgia, though not in a great position, has improved immensely. Next state we'll look at is Florida. Oh, we looked at Florida. The next state we will look at will be Louisiana. Louisiana is the state that's probably improved the most of any state in the Southeast. I kind of attribute it to the fact that in the summer, when people are going to beaches to all these other states, Louisiana doesn't have a lot of Gulf beach land, beach property, beach line. Not like states like Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, states like that, South Carolina. So let's look here. Okay, their peak death and case dates were quite some time ago. Their new cases have dropped significantly. 47,000 back 2.5-3 months ago to where his last 30 days, 15,334. Their deaths have gone down as well, quite well. Their testing has gone down, and possibly haven't needed to test as much because people aren't catching the virus, or is there a lack of testing? I'm not sure what the case is there, but looking at these numbers, the deaths and cases, that's a positive sign. Their positive test rate has gone down quite a bit, and they're the only state in the Southeast that's actually under 5%. But their death rate really hasn't gone down very much. But let's look at the positive test rate. Looks like they got below 5% around mid-September. They're currently sitting at about 3.5%. And if we look at their daily cases, they've been straddling that line they need to be at, the R1 that Dr. Fauci and other scientists say we need to be below for it to start shrinking. So they've somehow shrunk it before without even getting below R1 on a consistent basis. So that kind of leads me to believe their drop in testing might have something to do with that. So this might be like a false sense of security that these numbers are going down, but it may not be. Let's just call it where it is. Louisiana is in a much better place than any of their neighboring states. Next, we will look at, let's see, what's the next one? Mississippi. Okay, the problem with Mississippi is they do not test a lot. I mean, their testing has gone up quite a bit, but they were around 5,000 tests a day. They're up to about 8,000 tests a day with a population of only almost 3 million people. That's not very good. Now, the number of cases have gone down from where they were a few months ago. Their deaths have gone down significantly as well, so that's a very good thing. And their positive test rate has gone down quite a bit. Their death rate is the lowest of any of the last 3 months. Look at their positive test rate. They straddled the 5% line for a while, and they've kind of strayed away from that again. So I'm not sure what to say about Mississippi. You could say, well, they're doing quite well. They're getting a lot better because they're close to 5%, but the fact that they don't test very much is sort of disturbing to me. If we look at the number of cases per day, they've had a number of days where they've been below, but out of 90 days, it's only about 7 or 8 days. They've been, maybe 9 days, they've been below the R1 level of cases. So Mississippi's kind of up in the air. I'm not really sure what to think, mainly because they test so infrequently. We'll move on to the next state, and that would be South Carolina. Okay, South Carolina. You can see the peak cases were in September, late September, which is fairly recently. The peak deaths occurred on July 25th of 80. If you look at their case level, it's dropped off from where it was 60 to 90 days ago, but it's kind of leveled off. Their deaths have declined, but their testing has increased, so that's extremely positive. To have a state where their testing has doubled where it was 31 to 60 days ago, and their number of new cases has not gone up, is a very positive sign, and we can see that in the positive test rate as well. The cumulative positive test rate for the last 30 days is 4.93%. Let's see the 14-day moving average trend. Actually, they definitely are second to Louisiana in this regard, as far as all the southeastern states. And that concludes our southeast portion, or our video presentation of the southeastern states of the United States for COVID. as of data collected through October 17th, 2020. Thank you.